Hello and a huge welcome to this video. I'm Scorpion from How To Do, and in this video we will be learning how to make a money system inside of Unity like GTA. As you can see right now we have zero money right now. So as you can see there are to see. So what I want to do is I want to bring this money over there on the top left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reset the transform so it just brings it right in center. And as you can see the anchor point is right in the center. We don't want it to be in the center, we want it to be somewhere over here. So we're going to select the anchor point and hold shift and bring that anchor point over there. So now you can see it's over there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reset the position again. Oops, reset the position from here 0 0 and 0. So now it's over there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make it bigger like that, and also increase the font size somewhat like that. So now we can easily see it over there. We want it to be white. I want it to be white. So as you can see it's now white, and let's go ahead and say $0. So for now it will be 0. and later on we will increase the number like that. But as you can see, if we set it to 0, it's right in like center over here. We don't want it to be like here, we want it to be somewhere over here, and as the value increase we want it to be increasing like this, right? So how we do that is we just go ahead and select this alignment to be right, and now you can see it's like aligned right, as you can see over there, and as we increase the number it's gonna just move like that, and that's the only thing that we needed to do. So let's just leave it over there for now. I'm gonna call this text to be money. Alright, so I'm gonna come back to my $10 bill just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the money detector that is over here, and we are gonna go ahead and make an FSM in there. So if you don't see this Playmaker FSM, then it means you haven't installed or imported a Playmaker FSM in your Unity project. If you don't have it, then go ahead and click the link in the description box below and see my video. It will tell you how to download it for free and how to install it. Really simple, and if you download that and install it, you will be able to write codes without writing a single line of code. Alright, so you will be able to make games without writing a single line of code. I made all of this like third-person character controller and all that without making without writing a single line of code. And if you want to learn all of that, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and all my video tutorials are about Playmakers, so you will be able to easily make any game without writing a single line of code, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say on trigger enter. So trigger event, what is that is this game object right here, the box collider is trigger, right? So whenever something enters in it, we want to check whether or not it's the money. So how we do that is we go as you can see, it works with tags. Alright, so we have to add a money tag. I already have done that. So if you go to tag, you will see these tags over here. So what you have to do is you have to say add tag and say this plus sign and enter the tag name. I have set it to $10, and then come back again and select the bill and set that to $10 or anything you just made. Alright, so in my case I have just set it to $10. And then what you have to do is when we on trigger enter, so whenever something enters in this area with the tag $10, so select the $10 that you just made over here and then say send event. That means whenever something enters this area with the tag of $10, then go ahead and send event, and I'm gonna call this get money or earn money, anything you want, doesn't actually matters. And I'm gonna go ahead and say right click, add transition, earn money, or anything you just made over here, and say right click or control click to make a new state, or you can also say right click and add state, and then connect this transition to that state. So now if we play, it should move in this transition, but it won't, of course, because of some reason. I'm gonna tell you that reason. I'm gonna come over here and select the $10 bill also, so that we can see the box collisions and all that, so if it's working or not. So if I come over here, as you can see, we are right in there, so that money is right inside this area, and it should come in this. It's not detecting the $10 bill. I don't know why, but this is a little problem with Playmaker. I think it's newer version. I don't know why, but it does this problem. So it does not detect the box collider. We have to remove the box collider, and alternatively what we have to do is we have to say character controller. So we have to add a character controller to make it detect. Yeah, it looks stupid, but that will work. So now this area will detect this character controller. Alright, so if I play again and see, now it should work. Oops, I should select the money detector and then select that one and go in the top view. And now if I come closer, there you can see now we are in the state 2. So it detects and everything is working, so that's okay with me. Alright, it's okay with me. So now it's in your case it may not be like it may detect the box collider, but in my case it's not detecting the box collider, it's only detecting the character controller. So yeah, this is a simple fix. So now when we detect that we are taking the money, what we have to do is we have to have some kind of a float variable of money that will increase whenever we take the money. And also we wanna just make this disappear or destroy this game object. So how we do that is really simple. We have to say float add, select that float add, and right now we don't have any money float, so we have to make that. So go ahead and say right click and say new global variable. Global variable is are those variables that you can change from any FSM that you want. All right, so I'm gonna say new global variable, and I'm gonna call this money I don't know, current, anything, money current, and increase it with 10 because this is of $10, right? So we have a float variable money current, and every time we gonna come in here and take the money, it's gonna increase by 10. All right, because we are taking $10. And then what we have to do is we have to just go ahead and say next frame event and come back. I'm gonna go ahead and say right control click over here to make a finished event, and then go ahead and say finished and come back. So next frame event is, which means like you can say that after 1 second. All right, you can say after 1 second, or what happens after executing this action. So after executing this action, we're gonna go ahead and come back to this state. All right, oops, sorry, there we go. So now if we play the game, we should be able to see something, at least that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the top view again and go ahead and come over here. So as you can see, we can come in there, and we came back to that state. And if I come back again, there we go, we snap to that state and then come back. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and say if we go to variables tab, we have this current money right here, but we cannot see the value of it right now. All right, and we want to see the value of this current money right now. So because it's global variable, we cannot see the current money's value. So in order to see the value, we want to go ahead and say set float value and bring this top over there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make another float variable, and this will be a local variable called current money. I know the spellings are wrong, but I'm just going to show. You can set it to anything you want, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna make it unique so that I know this is the one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set this value. So float variable, this is the variable, and we want to set this value to be equal to that current money. So I'm gonna go ahead and say new global variable current money. There we go, this one. All right, money current, every frame, doesn't matter. And now if I come back to variables, and as you can see, this is the money current show, and right now its value is 0. And I'm gonna go ahead and select this to inspector, and if I select the money detector and go to controls, we can see the value of the current money show right now. And now if we play, we should see that this value will increase every time we come over here and take the money. So right now the current money show is 0. If I come over here, as you can see, it's now 10. And now if I come back, now it's 20, now it's 30, now it's 40, now it's 50, 60, and it's gonna increase and increase like every time we take this money. All right, so which means that it is working, right? It's quite nicely working. But we don't want the money to be right over there and we want to take it again and again and again. We don't want to do that. We want to just make it or destroy it after taking the money. So how we do that is we're gonna go ahead and store the collider, that is the game object that we just collided with. So we're gonna store that in a variable called money obj, money object, and come in here and say destroy object, and the object that we want to destroy is the money game object that we just collided with. So select the money object and destroy it, save that, and now we will be able to see that after taking the money, this should disappear. Alright, go over there, and as you can see, the money is now disappeared and we have current money equal to 10. That is pretty cool. But as you can see, if I come out of the gameplay and play the game again, the money will become 0 again. So which means that if we rob a bank and earn a lot of money, like 1 million, and then if we exit the game and play the game again, the money will be reset to 0, and that is not, of course, what we want, right? So we have to have some kind of a method to store the money, and the money actually is just this float, right? So we want to store the value of the float. So how we do that is the playmaker has a really cool action called player prefs. So player prefs, so as you can see, there is a whole action slot for the player prefs, and it says player player pref delete all, delete, we don't want to delete anything. So we can store the float, an int and a string. Alright, and we can store it and we can also access it. So we can set the value and we can store the value by saying player prefs set float, and then we can get that value by saying player prefs get float. Alright, so we can set it and then get it. So what we want to do is we're going to go to the second state and we're going to say set player pref float. So player prefs set float, so set the value of the float and store it. So how we do that is we say count is equals to 1, and then you have to enter any key. In my case I just want it to be like money, so MONEY, money, store, anything. Like in my case I'm gonna just set it to money store. It's just like a variable name, so you just have to enter the name, and then I want to set the value of this to be equal to the money current. Alright, so how we do that is we select this guy and then go ahead and go to global variable and money current that you just made. Alright, this one, so equal to that one. Alright, so what we are doing is we are storing the value of this guy in a variable called this money store. And then what we have to do is when the game starts, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a new state over here by just control click, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say player prefs get float, which means we're gonna get the value, the same one. So paste the name in here. Okay, no, this is not the name, this is the name, so money store. In your case it can be anything, but make sure the spellings are the same. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and set the variable we're gonna set the variable to be the money current. I know it's a little confusing, I'm gonna explain it again, but just a second. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this to be a start state. So whenever the game starts, what we want to do is we want to set the value of that, and then we're gonna go ahead and add transition finished and go there and say next frame event. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain everything. Just a second, let me just complete it, and then I'm gonna go over everything so you don't have to worry about anything. And the last thing that you have to do is you have to copy this and paste this action in here. So set the float value in both of this. Alright, so just copy that and paste that in here. Cool. Now if you play the game, we should see that when we play the game right now, this value should increase or decrease or something like that. So as you can see, the current money shows 0, shows 10 right now, so which means it just loaded the value. So if I come over here and take the money, it's now 20. So if I exit the game and play the game again, it should show right now 20, and then there we go. So now it's showing 20. So it means that it's gonna store the value whatever we are taking the money. So now it's 30, and if we exit the game, if we exit the Unity also and play open Unity up again or open the game again, then it is gonna just show it 30, just like that. So now that is quite nicely working, and I'm really proud of it. Let's see how it is working, and let me just go ahead and try to explain it. So what is happening in here, so whenever we see that the money is inside this area, what we're gonna do is we are gonna increase the float that is called money current by 10. So because this is $10, we're gonna increase the money by 10, and then we are gonna set this to float variable, the local variable, so that we can see it over here. You don't actually have to do it. I'm gonna just do it because I'm doing it because we can see the money right here, because this is a global variable and we cannot see the global variable value. So I'm gonna convert that to local variable, and then we can see the local variable value over here. Okay, and then we're gonna store the value. So set the float variable, this is the variable name, and it's gonna be equal to the money current, that is this one over here. Alright, so whatever it is, it's gonna be stored in this thing, money store, and this is gonna store in a file. I don't know where it is located, but it's called, I don't know what it's called, but it is some file that stores this value. Alright, and then when the game starts, we are gonna enter this state, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the float variable that we just made. So this right here has the value of this guy over here. Alright, and then we're gonna set that value to be equal to that global variable. Cool. And then we're gonna load that value back into the same variable, so it's now not 0, it's gonna be the exact same that we just stored. I hope I made myself clear, I think. If you don't understand it, then yeah, it's just setting the value, and then when the game starts, we're gonna get the value. All right, simple as that. It's not a big deal. If you don't understand it, then you can go ahead and go to Google and search for player prefs get float and player pref set float, and you can clear yourself there. But that is simple as that. So that is pretty much working. So now what I have to do is I have to go ahead and duplicate this money like that. So, and if I play the game now and select the money detector, and there you go, as you can see the current money is now 40. If I come over here, take this $10, it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So now we have the current money to be $90. If I come back and play the game again, now our money should be $90. And there we go, now we have $90. So now the only thing that is remaining is to change the value of this text over here. So as you can see, now we have $90, but we cannot see the $90 over there. It still says $0, as you can see. So we have to change the value of that. So in order to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make a separate do that, and then do that. Say separate empty game object called money manager. Oops, money UI manager, I guess. Okay, anything will work. Money UI manager, there we go. And add another FSM in there and say edit. Now what we have to do is we have to connect the money text. It is right over here under the canvas. If I press F, as you can see, this is the $0 over here. We're gonna go ahead and select the money UI manager and then drag and drop the money text in there, just like that. As you can see, it gives us different options. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and select the text and say set property, and in here we can set the property of the text. Like we can set the font, we can set it to be enabled and disabled, we can set the color, we can set the font style, size, anything like material and all that. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and set the text, and as you can see, it is a text string. All right. So if I just quickly go ahead, and you don't have to do it, alright, I'm saying you don't have to do it. So if I go ahead and make a new variable, call it anything, and if I go to variables, it says type is string. It's not float, alright, it's string. So what we have to do is we have to change from float to string. We have to convert it, but you don't have to worry about anything at all. So you can go to set value and go to global variables, and as you can see, it automatically converts it, and now we have the global variables over here. In my case, it was money current, right? In your case, it can be anything, like the global variable that we just made for the money. In my case, it's money current, and it's automatically gonna convert this float into a string. All right, and we're gonna set this to every frame, and that is it. So if I close this and play the game right now, you will be able to see that it will become 90. There we go. So it's now 90, and if I come over here, and now it's 100. If I take another 10, it's now 110, 20, 30, and 40. So now we have $140. If I come out and play the game again, we should see that it's still $140, and bam, so now it's 140. Cool. So that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, then subscribe to my channel, and in the next video what I will do is I think I will make a buying system. Like it will see that how much money do we have, and then we will be able to, you know, buy stuff, like buy cars and all that, buy property, buy weapons and all that, according to how much money do we have. And if we don't have sufficient money, we will have to earn it, or we will have to, you know, do a bank heist and all that. So yeah, we can make some interesting things out of it. But this is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to not to miss the future videos, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I think that is that. If you want to support me, you can also support me through PayPal. The link will be in the description box below. Please donate me some money, because I'm not getting any money from YouTube. So that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.